Okay, we got 8 minutes and 14 seconds on this one. Um, this is very funny because I'm constantly reminded of like the whole process of my writing through the years. Every time, literally, even especially like these days, like even today, I wrote like mm, 4 or 5 pieces, two of which were just roasting someone trying to scam me and making a marketing lesson out of it. How to actually not, what you call, approach people to pitch them. But others were like creative pieces or something. And yesterday was like 4 pieces as well. It was like about 10 hours, I guess, straight. So I'm noticing like a lot of not only complexity of like language dexterity or just let's say lyrical acrobatics or something, but also this is gonna sound delusional as hell, but yeah, the depth that every like single kind of even like subconscious choices that I myself am like wondering, okay, why did I choose this word? Why did I even care about this section or that? And the third, I notice sometimes some are even like hidden to me still, but I notice, okay, this actually contributes to the whole like message, to the whole kind of let's say um, story, elevates the whole thing. And what I realized that I'm constantly reminded of when I started writing. I was like 7 or 8 years old, I think, and I don't know what triggered it, but I remember I had this like mini board that was yeah, that was like markers and the board, and it was meant for drawing. And for some weird reason, my family were like quite adamant about drawing, music, and stuff like that. And although they kind of hated that because that's a cheap status in society, but they kind of allowed it as acceptable hobby, generous of them. And writing, for whatever the reason, um, was off limits. And I even noticed that because they were playing it smart and they didn't want to trigger the, let's say, um, the pink elephant effect, that explicitly saying, okay, don't write, so you're gonna be curious about writing, they just dismissed it and ignored it like for a long time. And the funny thing is that I wrote something, it was like about New Year's time. I wrote something and it was lyrical, like literally it had a fucking rhyme to it at like 8 years old. And we submitted it, I don't know for whatever the reason, to the radio of the whole the area, and they aired it or something, or my kind of family paid them to air it or something, but it was heard, let's say. And then I dropped the whole thing till I was still kind of thinking about writing and stuff, but till I was like 12 years old, I dropped the whole thing and I didn't write a word. Then I started again writing and experimenting and stuff. And this time wasn't poetry. It was like I wrote a kind of mini story that we played in the school. And after that, something very, very, very interesting happened that I had this literature professor that would give us a couple of words to just write on it, not even what you call poetry or something. And I remember I blanked out and I blacked out and went blank in my mind. And when I opened my eyes, all of the words I had what you call used in a rhyming kind of rhythm and stuff like that. And of course, everyone would say, "Oh, I've heard this one. I've read this one somewhere or something." To kind of let's say show resistance and deny whatever. And the funny thing is, I literally wrote it in class, so everyone saw I literally was just writing it in front of them. But yeah, and after that, I read a lot of like shit ton of like literature that I was just consuming a lot of things. And after that, I remember there was this one moment. This is the whole point of the video. There was this one moment that I saw this very enticing poem, and I just had a little kind of mini wish in my heart of hearts. And I said, bruh, if I only could write as good as that line, that poem. And funny enough, I kind of in my mind owned that poem, and that poem was mine. Although I wasn't the author of it and stuff like that. And I don't know what happened, but ever since that day, everything, everything I write, it just keeps elevating and more sophisticated, more elaborate, and more stuff like that. That even these days, like I'm getting like praises from not people, but people who actually matter, to be honest, like writers and like, people who are like bestsellers themselves. And yeah, I just call it like I just had this word in my mind called like delusion drive. That's my storage is running out, but yeah, I think even the delusion itself of owning that poem elevated me to the kind of let's say to the heights that I never